Hello and assalamu alaikum, my friends. Today I want to tell you the story of a man who didn't just change science, he changed the way we see the universe. This is not just a biography, it's the journey of a boy who was once considered slow, even dumb, but went on to become the greatest physicist of all time. Yes, I'm talking about Albert Einstein. Let's travel back in time. The date, 14th March, 1879. The place, Ulm, a small city in the Kingdom of Württemberg, in Germany. Einstein was born into a middle-class Jewish family. His father was Hermann Einstein, an engineer and salesman. His mother, Pauline, was a pianist and homemaker. Nothing about Einstein's early life screamed genius. In fact, it was quite the opposite. As a child, Albert was oddly silent. He didn't speak a full sentence until he was nearly 4 years old. Some family members feared he might have a learning disability. At school, he was quiet, rebellious, and often clashed with teachers. One teacher even told him, "You will never amount to anything in life." Einstein hated the rigid German education system, which focused on memorization and obedience. He wanted to ask questions, to understand, to imagine. Einstein started schooling in Munich, but dropped out at age 15 due to conflict with his teachers and pressure from his parents. He moved to Switzerland, and at 17, he got admitted to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich, now ETH Zurich. Even there, Einstein didn't excel in every subject. He often skipped classes, argued with professors, and preferred to study on his own. But he was brilliant in physics and math. In 1900, he graduated, but he couldn't find a job as a teacher or academic. None of his professors recommended him. He ended up working as a clerk in the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. Sounds like a failure, right? But in reality, it was a blessing in disguise. At the patent office, Einstein had plenty of free time to think, to read, and to do thought experiments, the kind you perform in your mind. And then came the miracle year, 1905. In this single year, Albert Einstein published 4 groundbreaking papers, each of which could have earned him a Nobel Prize on its own. Photoelectric effect showed how light behaves like particles. This later led to quantum physics. Brownian motion proved the existence of atoms. Special theory of relativity changed our understanding of space and time. And of course, the famous formula, E equals mc squared. This simple-looking equation meant that mass and energy are interchangeable. It was a revolution. He was still just a clerk, but the world of physics would never be the same again. Einstein didn't stop there. Over the years, he worked on General Theory of Relativity, 1915, explaining gravity not as a force, but as a curvature of space-time caused by mass. Predicted that light bends when passing near a massive object, which was proven during a solar eclipse in 1919. This made him world-famous overnight. He also contributed to quantum theory. Even though he disliked its randomness, wave-particle duality Bose-Einstein condensate, a new state of matter predicted with Satyendra Nath Bose. The cosmological constant, a term he later called his biggest blunder because he didn't yet know the universe was expanding. The unified field theory, an unfinished attempt to merge gravity and electromagnetism. In 1921, Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics, surprisingly, not for relativity, but for his work on the photoelectric effect. By now, he was one of the most recognizable faces in the world. He traveled to the US, UK, Japan, Palestine. Wherever he went, thousands came to hear him speak. But fame did not change him. He stayed humble, curious, and deeply philosophical. Einstein was a pacifist, deeply disturbed by war and nationalism. When Hitler rose to power in 1933, Einstein, being Jewish and anti-Nazi, left Germany and moved permanently to the United States, joining Princeton University. However, in 1939, he did something he would later regret. Einstein signed a letter to President Roosevelt, warning that Germany might build an atomic bomb. This letter led to the Manhattan Project and eventually to the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Einstein was devastated. He spent the rest of his life promoting peace, warning the world about the dangers of nuclear weapons. Einstein was married twice. His first wife, Mileva Maric, was a physicist too. They had 3 children, but their marriage ended in divorce. Later, he married his cousin, Elsa. Einstein had a complex personal life. He was deeply dedicated to science, but often emotionally distant from family. Still, he loved music, especially Mozart and Bach, and used to say, "If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician." In April 1955, Einstein suffered from an abdominal aortic aneurysm. Doctors suggested surgery, but Einstein refused, saying, "It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go." On 18 April 1955, Albert Einstein passed away at the age of 76. His brain was preserved without his family's permission for scientific study. But what he truly left behind was far greater. He left behind a way of thinking. He proved that imagination is more powerful than knowledge, that failure is part of the journey, that questioning is the beginning of wisdom. Conclusion: Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather a man of value." And that's what he was. From a child labeled slow, to a rebellious student, to a clerk in a patent office, to the mind that unlocked the universe. That was Einstein. That was genius. If you found this story inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which part of Einstein's life amazed you the most. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and never stop imagining.